Welcome to the podcast, Let the Prophet Speak. Today we continue our study of the book of Judges, chapter 9, with 9b. We continue with the story of Avimelech, the first person anointed king of Israel, who achieved his position with a murderous rampage of killing his 70 brothers. We just finished reading in the last podcast the curse that Yotam, his only surviving brother, pronounced upon him, that to the people of Shechem, telling the people of Shechem that if you really want to get support from Avimelech, if that's the path that you're taking, then may Avimelech consume all of you. If you think you're going to get leadership from him, and that he's going to help you, what you're going to get is the opposite. He's going to destroy you in the end. So you might like him now, but ultimately he's going to destroy you. So we're going to read of that occurrence right now. So Vayosar Avimelech al Yisrael shalosh shonim. Avimelech was then the leader, and it's interesting that it uses the term here Vayosar. It doesn't say Vayimloch, which would be the usual word for a king, or it doesn't say Vayishpot, which is the word that's been used for the judges until now, but Vayosar means he was overlorded them. He was haughty above them, which, as we know, the villainous, murderous, arrogant character of this person, Avimelech, shouldn't surprise us that he would lead in a heavy-handed way. And obviously, when one leads in a heavy-handed way, leads with violence, leads through fear, it does not create goodwill towards the leader, and eventually leads the people to rebel. So, Vayishlach Elohim ruach ra, God then sent a hatred, bad feelings between Avimelech and Baalei Shechem, between Avimelech and the people of Shechem. Those people of Shechem who pushed Avimelech to be the king and supported him and got rid of the other children of Yerubbaal, of Gidon. Now those people don't like Avimelech anymore. Vayivgedu Baalei Shechem b'Avimelech, and the people, the citizens of Shechem, then rebelled against Avimelech. He uses the term Baalei Shechem, referring to the leadership of Shechem, because it was the leadership of Shechem that Avimelech approached originally, and they were the ones that donated money to help him hire his goons, so that he could be able to violently take over control. So the result of this, and now I'm about to read verse 24, the result of this rebellion between the Baalei Shechem and Avimelech was the following: that Lavo Chamas Shivim B'nei Yerubbaal was so that the awful crime of the Vidamam and of the killing and the blood of the 70 sons of Yerubbaal should come, Lasum al Avimelech Achim Asher Haragosam, should be avenged, and it would come, that crime would come back upon Avimelech, their brother, who was the one responsible for killing them. And that same punishment should come v'al Baalei Shechem, against the citizens of Shechem. In other words, this fight between Asher Chizku et Yadav L'harog et Achav, those citizens of Shechem who supported him and strengthened him in his act of killing his brothers. So the result of the fighting between the citizens of Shechem and Avimelech himself was that both Avimelech and the citizens of Shechem are going to suffer because of the crime that they did. That's the translation of the verse 24. It's a little difficult translation, but that's how it reads. Vayasimu lo va'alei Shechem. And so what happens now? We're going to learn about this fight between the two of them and how it all played out. So the citizens of Shechem made ma'orvim. They placed ambushes and bands of people on the roads leading to the city of Shechem, al Rashei ha'arim, on the mountaintops, so that the people traveling in the city, they would run down from the mountaintops, vayigzelu et kol asher yavar lehem badarach, they would steal from whoever was passing. They created chaos. They created vayugad l'Avimelech, and it was told to Avimelech, whenever there's fighting and there's no authority and the people don't respect the authority, the people hate the authority, chaos reigned anyone going in and out of Shechem was getting raided by these parties of people that supposedly were rebelling against Avimelech, but were actually just roving bandits. So now Vayavo, this person came by the name of Gaal ben Eved. Gaal, the son of Eved. Whether this means he was himself an Eved, a slave, or whether his father's name was Eved. We do see similar names to Eved, like Oved. We see there are others. It could have been the person's name being servant as a servant of God, etc. But so whether this Gaal was actually a slave, a descendant of a slave or not, is unclear. But so I'm going to assume his name is Gaal ben Eved. And this guy showed up, V'echav and his brothers. Apparently he was a strong guy. He was somebody the people respected for his strength. Vayavru b'Shechem, and they passed through Shechem. While all of this chaos was going on, the people were rebelling, riots going on, etc. Vayivdechu vo b'alei Shechem, and the citizens of Shechem trusted him and thought, well, maybe this guy will help us in our rebellion against Avimelech. So vayetzu hasada, they went out into their field, vayivtru et Mayhem, and they harvested their grapes, their vines, vayidruchu, and they pressed them, made wine, vayasu hilulim, and they made parties. Vayavo beis Eloheihem, and they went into their houses of worship, their idol houses, their idolatrous houses. Vayochlu, vayishtu, and they ate and they drank and they partied with their new leader, the person who they thought was going to save them, this Gaal ben Eved. Vayikalu et Avimelech, and they cursed Avimelech. Vayomer, and the Gaal ben Eved, and this Gaal ben Eved who's leading all of this partying. I mean, we see that the description here is the description of utter chaos, mess, complete, total partying and raiding people and robbing people, and the authority is completely disrespected, and the only way the authority gets anything is through violence and murder. It's just total mayhem. So the head of during these parties, this Gaal ben Eved tells all the people, the ones that hate Avimelech, who mishchem kina avdenu, and mi Avimelech, who is this Avimelech, and who is this? And who are we, the people of Shechem, that we should be serving Avimelech? Halo ben Yerubbaal, right? He is the son of Yerubbaal. I'm reading this the way the Metzudos and the Radak read this pasuk. There are different translations and different ways to read it, but I think this is the most true to the words. He's just the son of Yerubbaal. He's not the Yerubbaal. He's not the real Gidon who saved us. He's just his son. So why we, people of Shechem, should be serving him? Uzevul Pekido. And why should we be serving Zevul, his henchman? Zevul was Avimelech's right-hand man. We're going to learn a little more about him shortly. Ivdu et anshe chamor avi Shechem. If we were just going to serve people just because they're the sons of someone, so let's worship the descendants of Chamor. Chamor, we know, is presumably the name. It often means donkey, but here Chamor is the name of the hereditary leaders of Shechem from years back. If you remember, in the time of Jacob, the head of this town of Shechem, his name was Chamor. So let's serve his descendants. If all we're looking for is descendants to serve, right, then let's serve them. Why should we, the people of Shechem, be serving this guy who all he is the son of Gidon? What did he do? At least his father did something. He did nothing. If only this people were under my command, Gaal says, I would take all you guys and we would just get rid of Avimelech. Vayomer Avimelech, and I would say to Avimelech tauntingly, Rabot Zovecha, you bring out all your troops, bring out lots of troops, V'tseya, and come out here and fight me. You can just imagine what he looked like, half drunk, at this wild party saying these kinds of things. Vayishma Zevul Sahar. Of course, there were people in the party that went back to Zevul. Zevul, who was the minister or the mayor of the city, who was the appointee of Avimelech and a loyal henchman of Avimelech. He was told that Divrei Gaal ben Aved vayicharappo. He heard the words of Gaal, the son of Aved, and he was angry, of course, because he was the mayor of the town, because he was appointed by Avimelech. I mean, obviously he was in a difficult situation because Zevul knew the population was against Avimelech. So he probably made himself look like a little bit like sympathetic, so that people told him he knew what was going on. But of course, he was angry, and he reported that back to his master, which we see right now in verse 31. Vayishlach malachim el Avimelech b'torma leimor. So he sent messengers to Avimelech. Now, Bitarma could be a place name. Avimelech may have been in a place called Tarma, or it might be the same word as Mirma, which is in hiding or in secret. So wherever Avimelech was is irrelevant at this point, but wherever he was, he sent messengers in secret, which would fit with the way we explained, because Zevul was trying to play both sides here. He wanted to remain mayor. He needed to maintain the confidence of the people of the town. At the same time, he wanted to maintain the confidence of Avimelech, so he sent messengers in secret, saying, Hine, behold, Gaal ben Eved, this Gaal, the son of Eved, V'echav, and his brothers, Ba'im Shechema, they came to the town, V'hinam tzorim et ha'ir alecha, and they are making the city, they are inciting the city against you. Some of the commentaries say tzorim here means they are laying siege to the city, referring to the roving bandits that were attacking the people on the roads. But I think the better translation here is tzorim, they are making them enemies, meaning they are inciting the city against you. V'yato, and now kum laila. Yeah, so in other words, now he's giving Avimelech an idea. These messengers saying, get up at night. Set up at the nighttime when the people of the city won't know, and hide yourselves in the field, so that people won't see you when they come out to the fields to do their work. When they come out of the city to do their work in the fields. And when the morning comes, when the sun shines, Tashkim, get up early, upashatita al ha'ir, and start coming closer and spread yourselves out and bring your people closer to the city. V'hinehu v'ha'am asher ito yotzim elacha. And I'm telling you that Gaal and his supporters, the people that were against you, are against you. They are going to come out towards you, towards the field, not knowing, of course, that you're there. And then, since you'll be there by surprise, do with him however you find yourself able to do against him. So Avimelech took the advice of his right hand man. Vayakam Avimelech v'cholam asher imo laila, and Avimelech and all the people with him that were his supporters, his goons, his rakim, his empty, like we learned before, his empty, reckless thugs in the nighttime. Vayervu al Shechem arba rashim, and they divided into 4 groups, and they laid ambushes around Shechem. And in the morning comes, verse 35, Vayetze Gaal ben Eved, Gaal the son of Eved comes out, Vayamud Pesach Sha'ar Ir, and he stands near the door of the opening gateway of the city. Vayakam Avimelech v'yom asher itim min ha'marav. So Avimelech gets up from his ambush, stands up. So Vayar Gaal el ha'etza'am, and Gaal saw all the people, Vayom coming against them. So Vayomer el Zevul, remember, so he tells Zevul, the mayor, the one who's playing both sides, Gaal thinks he has his confidence. Hine am yored, look, there's people coming down, Merashe Aharim, from the mountains. Who are these people? Vayomer el Zevul, Zevul says, nah, they're not people. Etzel he'arim atoro eka anashim. You're seeing the shade of the mountains, the shadows of the mountains. It's tricking your eyes. There's nobody coming down. So here you have Zevul hoping that Gaal would be caught completely off guard, so that Avimelech will then take his revenge against the people of the town. So Vayosef od Gaal ledaber, and then Gaal continued to speak Vayomer, and he said, Hine am yordim me'im tabur haaretz. There are people coming down from Tabur haaretz, right, from the center of the land. Remember, he divided in 4 groups. Virosh echad ba, and one group is coming miderech Elon Ma'onanim, from this direction of Elon Ma'onanim. The people are coming from everywhere, so he was no longer could be tricked to be told these are just shadows. As he starts seeing the other groups coming, they're coming from. They're not just coming from there, but they're coming from there. They're coming from there. It's like they're coming out of the center of the earth. Vayomer love Zevul aye efo picha asher tomar. When Zevul sees that Gaal recognized what was happening, Zevul grins and laughs at him. Ha ha! Where is your bragging mouth now when you said, Mi Avimelech kinavdenu, who's Avimelech that we should serve him? Yeah, let's listen to you now. Now you're toast, man. Halo zeha am asher ma'astabo. This is the group of people that you were disgusted with and you were making fun of. You said before, I'm going to tell him, come out, bring out your men and fight me. Well, now it's your turn. You go out and fight against him. So Gaal didn't have a choice. Now he's stuck. The fight is on. Gaal and went and led the rebels, and they waged war against Avimelech. Avimelech chased him down. Vayonos mipanav, and Gaal ran away. Vayiplu chalolim rabim at Pesach Hashar, and many dead soldiers and people from the town that were fighting against Avimelech were put to death by Avimelech. So here we have the murderous king now murdering this very people that put him into power, killing them all, corpses strewn all over the battlefield. Vayeshev Avimelech ba'aruma. Avimelech now went back to Aruma. This might be the same place as Tarma before, assuming that Tarma was a place name. Vayigarish Zevul et Gaal v'et Echav, and Zevul threw out Gaal and everyone that supported him and his brothers, Mishevet b'Shechem, threw them out of the town of Shechem, and Avimelech strengthened his hold again through murder and slaughter of his own people, strengthened his hold and his rule over Shechem. Not a pretty picture. Vayihimi macharas, the next day comes. Vayetze ha'am hasada vayagidu l'Avimelech. The people went out into the field. And again, even after they were subdued, the people went out to do their work in the field. And Avimelech, still being the suspicious king, as we know from history, dictators usually are, it was told to Avimelech, the people are out there again. They're vulnerable again. Vayikach et ha'am, and he took his people. Ha'am here consistently in this chapter meant his people. Avimelech took his supporters. Vayechatzem l'shlosha rashim. He divided them into three groups. Vaye'erov basada, and he ambushed the people of Shechem again in the field. Vayar, and he saw v'hinei ha'am yotzei min ha'ir. He saw that the people were coming out of the city, so they're vulnerable. They're not protected by the city walls. Vayokam aleim vayakim. He struck them down again. And this time they hadn't even come out to fight. They were coming out to work, but he strikes them down again. Murder, and then murder again, and now murder again. V'Avimelech v'Yaroshim asher imo, and Avimelech and the chiefs that were with him, Pashtu, they vayamdu Pesach Shar ha'ir, they spread out, meaning they spread out towards the city, and they stood in the gates of the city. Ushnei haroshim pashtu al kol asher basada vayakum. So by blocking the gates, the people couldn't even retreat into the city. So everyone stuck out into the fields were being sandwiched by the two groups that were outside, and then the group standing in the gate blocking their entrance into the city. So the people were struck down again. So Avimelech nilcham b'ir kol hayom ahu. Avimelech continued his slaughter against the city that entire day. Vayel kodes ha'ir. He captured the entire city. This was his hometown, the town that put him in power. He captured it, the entire thing. And everyone that lived there, he slaughtered. He smashed the city down and razed it. And raised it with salt. So, whoopee, he conquered his own city and killed all of the people that had put him in the power in the first place. Again, murder after murder after murder, but it's not over yet. It descends and gets even worse, if you can imagine worse. Vayishmu kol balei migdal Shechem. So then the people that lived in the tower of Shechem, they heard, so there was a tower of Shechem, probably near the city, and they were either not present, the Radak explains they weren't present. They heard that what had happened, this mass slaughter, Vayavo el tziriach beit el bris. And they went into the tziriach is like the tunnel of the house of the God of the covenant. Now, this is the covenant that was made with Baal, which we talked about before. The covenant which was made with the idol. Remember, all the people were idol worshippers, Avimelech and his followers, and now the rebels. So Vayugad Avimelech heard that they now all gathered, called Baalei Migdal Shechem. They're gathered in one place. when you think in the mind of a vicious, genocidal maniac like Avimelech, all of the people that from the Tower of Shechem are now gathered within that tunnel. You just think what he's about to do. Vayal Avimelech Har Tzalmon. Avimelech went to Har Tzalmon, who he and all of Cholam Meshito and all of the people that were his supporters. Vayikach Avimelech et hakardumot biyado, and he took axes with him. Vayichros shochas eitzim, and on the mountain of Tzalmon, on Har Tzalmon, he chopped down large branches. Vayisrael, and he carried the branches. Vayasim al shichmo, he carried them on his shoulders. Vayomer Eloham Asharimu, and he told the people that were with him, Mara isim asisi, with that which you see I'm doing, right? Maharu asu kamoni, do exactly like I'm doing. Vayichrusu gam kol ha'am ish socho, and then all of the people, they all did the same thing. Each one went and chopped off a branch. Vayelchu acharei Avimelech, and they all went and followed Avimelech. Vayasimu al atzriach, and they piled up all of the branches over the door of the tunnel. Vayatzisu aleim et atzriach ba'esh, and through these buffs they burned it down. They lit them all on fire, and the people were all stuck inside. Vayamusu gam kol anshe migdal Shechem ke'elef ish ve'isha, and all of the people that from the Tower of Shechem, all of the families that were hiding inside there, like over 1,000 men and women, were slaughtered and burnt alive by Avimelech on that day. It's very difficult to read. I'm finishing this chapter even though it's very long because I don't want to have to read this again next time. Vayelech Avimelech el Tevetz vayichan beTevetz vayilkada. And Avimelech continued his slaughter. He went to another town, Tevetz. Again, he probably accused or assumed they would rebel as well. He camped there and he captured it. Umigdal oz haya b'toch ir. There was a strong, powerful tower in that city. Vayanusu shama kol ha'anoshim v'hanoshim v'chol ba'alei ha'ir. And all of the men and the women, in other words, all of the families and all of the citizens of the town of Tevetz went into the tower for refuge. Vayiskru badam, and they locked it up. Vayalu al gag hamigdal, and they were all on the roof of the tower while Avimelech's army was camped around it. Vayavu Avimelech ad hamigdal vayilachem bo. He managed to break through the defenders and fight with them. The ones who were outside the tower, defending the tower, Vayigash ad Pesach Hamigdal Asarfo Be'esh, and he was coming to the door, and he was about to burn it down, and the people of Tevetz knew how vicious Avimelech was, and that they were all going to be burnt alive. Vatashlech Isha Achas, and there was a woman who was on top of the tower. She threw down a pelach. She drew down a pelach is a millstone, rechev, a upper millstone, because there's two millstones, a top one and a bottom one. The top one rides and moves over the bottom one to crush the grain in between the two stones. So she had an upper millstone, and she threw it from the top of the tower, al rosh Avimelech, right on the top of Avimelech's head, vatoretz es gulgolto, and it cracked open his skull. He was still alive, bleeding, but he knew he was going to die. Vayikra mehera el hanar, and he called out quickly to his nar nosekelav, to his assistant boy who carried his weapons. Vayomerlo, and he said to him, Shlov charbecha almoseseni, pull out your sword and kill me. Pen yomer li isha haragasu, because I don't want people to say about me that I was killed by a woman. This is what bothered him now. He didn't care that he would be remembered as one of the most vicious and most awful leaders of the people of Israel had ever had in its history, one of the most murderous dictators in history, and remembered as a villain. That he didn't care about. But that people should think he was killed by a woman, that he was worried about. Vayid kereu naharo vayamos. And his assistant listened to his instructions and killed him. Vayiru ish Yisrael ki meis Avimelech, and everyone saw that Avimelech died, and people were tired and exhausted of all of this death, as you can imagine. They didn't even bother partying. Vayichlu ish l'mukomo. Everybody just went home. That idea of all of this chaos and mayhem and murder and burning people, it's just disgusting. People just were sick and tired of it all. They just went home. Vayoshev Elohim et roas Avimelech asher aso la'aviv. And this is how God made the evil of Avimelech land literally on top of his head. Asher aso la'aviv, that which he did to his father, la'arog et shiv mechav, to kill his 70 brothers, and V'yidroas kol anshe Shechem, and including the people of Shechem who supported it and supported the murder of the 70 sons of Gidon, right? They ended up getting punished by Avimelech himself. Heshev aleim berosham. Literally that, Heshev Elohim berosham. God returned that revenge upon them on their heads. Vatovo aleim kilas Yosam ben Yerubbaal, and the curse of Yotam ben Yerubbaal, the curse that those who sought refuge under Avimelech's leadership would end up suffering from Avimelech himself, came true. This concludes the very sorry story which started with Gidon, came to some of the greatest heights of heroism, descended into idolatry and arrogance, and eventually descended into one of the worst chapters of the history of the nation of Israel. Thank you so much for studying chapter 9 together. Looking forward to studying chapter 10 and the rest of this book of Judges together.